data shows that the Democratic Party is in serious trouble. This is according to the data. I am not making this up. This is not my commentary. So don't punish us for being the messengers of this news if you happen to be a Democrat. So millions of Americans are apparently leaving the Democratic Party and choosing to register as Republicans instead, which is actually pretty surprising to me considering all the chaos that's going on right now under the leadership of the Republican Party. But nonetheless, we know this because 30 states track voter registration by political party. So we get this data in real time, and as you can see here, take a look at this chart. From 2020 to 2024, Democrats hemorrhaged voters to Republicans in every single one of the 30 states that track voter registration, pertaining to party affiliation. As you can see, this map spans deep blue states like California, deep red states in the Midwest, and swing states like Arizona. Overall, Democrats lost just over 2 million voters, while Republicans gained just under 2.5 million. So I actually apologize. I mentioned how the voter registration went from Democrat to Republican and how surprising that is given how chaotic Republican leadership has been. But obviously that leadership began in 2025. This tracks voter registration between 2020 to 2024. So with that in mind, I'm actually not surprised at all. In fact, I was warning about this leading up to the 2024 election when it came to issues like crime, for instance, or the migrant crisis. People wanted to pretend like they weren't issues at all, that it was all just kind of made up by the right, but it wasn't made up by the right. And so with that vacuum left by the Democratic Party on these issues, the Republican Party comes in and says, we have solutions for this. Whereas the Democratic Party gaslit people and told people this is all made up. That leads to rage among Democratic voters, and they're looking for someone who's gonna represent them and find solutions to these issues, so they switched on over to the Republican side. That's what happened here.
Yeah, so look, this can all be summarized in one simple way. The American people loathe the elites and the establishment. So whichever party is considered more establishment is going to lose and lose badly. So for a long time, that was the Republican Party because they're the party of big business. So everybody knew that the Republicans are going to do tax cuts for the rich and give away stuff to corporations. Not everybody, but a lot of people knew that. So that's why they couldn't win a national election. It was about the Democrats won 7 out of 8 popular votes in a row. In fact, we got to the point by the last election, everybody was stunned that a Republican won the popular vote because we were so used to Democrats always winning the popular vote. Why? Because who wants to vote for a servant of big business and giant corporations that are, oppressing all of us and the donor class, etc. But because of Trump, what happened was the Republicans started to sound like they were authentic. Now I know it's a trick, guys, and I know that Donald Trump's a giant liar and a con man, right? But because he was going off script, and because he was saying wild, outrageous things, it gave the air of authenticity and the air of being an actual human as opposed to a robot. And the Democrats' answer to that was, let's be more robotic, let's do talking points from our consultants, and let's be even more elitist. And let's bring out like Buttigieg and Newsom and all these slick guys in suits and Adam Schiff and use big words and talk down to people and say there is no corruption. The money does not affect the politicians. Everything, just vote for what Democratic leadership tells you. We know what we're doing.
I don't know what Democrats represent. I don't know what their objectives are.
The leadership in the party.
Yes. I'm not talking about the voters. Guys, voters are completely out of this, okay? Because they're normal people trying to make the best out of the crappy options we have. I'm specifically talking about the power players, the people in positions of power. What does the Democratic Party represent? Who are they? What do they want to do for this country? I don't know. I really don't know.
So now here we are in the year 2025. Trump is creating chaos. This would be a perfect moment for Democrats to surge. But we know because of the new polling that the Democrats are not surging. In some polling, they're down to 19%. That's unbelievable, especially at a time where Trump's got military in the streets, he's deporting all the wrong people, Alligator, Alcatraz, Epstein files, serving Israel, etc., right? And still the Democrats can't figure it out. Because think about it. If you're a Democratic voter, you should be the angriest. What drives me crazy, guys, is when Democratic voters are like, no, let's support the establishment more. You're going the wrong way. You're ruining your own party, right? So in this time of Trump, what has Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, or Ken Martin at the DNC proposed that you love?
That we support Israel more, I guess. That I don't love that, but I mean that's what we've gotten from them.
But it's a very literal question, and I'm curious if anyone in the audience could even answer it, right? And I'm not putting it on you guys. I'm just saying, I know for a fact they've proposed nothing. That's why it's difficult to answer. Like if right now, if Trump was in charge and I was in charge of the Democratic Party, I would oppose him in 1,000 different ways. And so like one of the reasons I said, why don't we cut defense, is because I knew they wouldn't cut defense. Then if I was Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, I would say, look at this, they added $150 billion to the Pentagon, the most corrupt institution we have in the government. They can't pass an audit. This is an outrage. This is graft and corruption going towards the defense industry. The defense industry is very unpopular in America. Adding to defense was very unpopular. Even a lot of Republicans didn't want to do it. The independents don't want to do it. But they won't do that. Why won't they do something like all Democratic voters would agree? We should not add to the Pentagon. We should cut from the Pentagon. They can't. So why don't they do the simplest things? Why don't they fight for paid family leave? That's 84%. You could embarrass Trump. Oh, you're not for American moms? This is for American moms, right? But they won't do any of that. You know why? Because their donors say, is Lockheed Martin Raytheon? I believe he's got one, maybe two out of the top 5 donors for Hakeem Jeffries are defense contractors, right? So he's not gonna do that because he's literally getting bribed, legally bribed by the defense contractors. Why are they not standing up to him on Israel when Israel is now very unpopular here in America, the genocide that they're doing? Number 1 donor to Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries is AIPAC. So it's the corruption that is causing them to be impotent and just go, Trump bad. We don't know anything. We don't have a policy on Israel. We don't have a policy on the Pentagon. We don't have a policy on anything. That's why the Democratic voters are so upset that they won't fight for you because their hands are tied by their donors.
What the is the point of taking the donor money to win elections if you're going to like essentially be a useless, empty suit in Congress? Like, what's the point of, like, you get what I'm saying?
I do, and I have an answer to that. So the answer is related to Jim Clyburn. So he's another Democratic leader, and since he's African American, they think that's a shield. Like Israel says they're a Jewish state, so you're not allowed to criticize them. But nobody's criticizing Jews, we're criticizing a foreign government. In the case of Clyburn, it has nothing to do with this race. You know what he did in South Carolina? In fact, the Republicans were trying to gerrymander a second African-American district, a district that was predominantly black in South Carolina. They were trying to gerrymander it out of existence. You know who helped them? Jim Clyburn. Why? Why did he do that? Why did he cost the Democrats and African-Americans another seat in the House? Because it made his seat safer. So they're selling you out for their own interests. So Hakeem Jeffries will lose more seats in the House. The Democrats will have a worse reputation, but because of all the money he takes from AIPAC, he's then able to lift himself up into leadership. And so he's now the leader of the Democrats in the House. So for him, it's worked out great. For Clyburn, great. Pelosi, great. Biden, great, etc. For the rest of us, not so good. So I'm not telling you to vote for Republicans, that's crazy. I'm telling you to challenge your own politicians. Please stop believing the mainstream media that they have your best interest in mind. They don't. That's why you're losing all the independents. We got to bring those independents back. And the only way to do that is to be honest and to fight for them and to not back the corrupt leaders of the Democratic Party. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.